Hi friends, and welcome here. This was a very fun video to film because I take you along kind of like a week in the life, but only like little segments of my week in the life of unleavened bread, the things that we did, the lessons I taught the boys, food we ate, and everything in between. This is the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The night before we had Passover at friend's house and we had a really nice time with that. And then this is the morning. I always make crepes to begin our Feast of Unleavened Bread because they're so simple. My family loves them. I make these throughout the year as well, but they're always a special thing to have during the Feast of Unleavened Bread when you are unable to eat a lot of carbs. So I always make a cream cheese filling to go in it, and then we top it with berries, and it's always so very good. So yeah, I've actually had this recipe in a magazine that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. It is the Torah Sisters magazine, and I'm so excited to have them sponsor this video. I will talk about them and everything that they stand for and what the magazine entails in a little bit, but right now I am just heating up the crepes that I've made. I will pre-make these, so I have a very simple morning on Saturday morning. This was our Sabbath. It ended up being a double Sabbath to start off the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So I prepped these the day before. I cooked them up and then I just stack them and put them in the refrigerator, and I'll just heat them on my cast iron for just like a few seconds each side and pull those off just so they are warm enough. You can fill these with all kinds of things. I made citrus cream cheese filling before. This is a vanilla cream cheese filling. You can do chocolate, powdered sugar, just keep them very simple, or make them as fancy as you would like. After breakfast, we kind of read through or kind of reviewed the Exodus story again, and they were playing with some sticker sheets that they got from Passover dinner the night before. My oldest really loved these sticker sheets. If I can find them, I will try to link them below. They were really fun to just like show the plagues and have them involved while I was reading the story and just talking through it. So the next day was Sunday, which was our first fruits. This year, I'm counting the omer by making a paper chain. I saw this on Pinterest, and I think this is such a fun idea because you can decorate with a paper chain when you get to Shavuot. So today, I didn't really do anything else special for the Feast of First Fruits because it was very cold, and I just didn't want to make sherbet, which is what I normally do, to like kind of get the fruit symbolism in, but I did not want to do that. It was too cold. So we just did the paper chain and talked about the omer and counting 50 days. The next day, the boys and I made some matzah crack. If you have never had this before, you should just make it every year because it is so addicting. You do caramel and chocolate, and you melt the chocolate on top. We topped ours with some toffee bits as well, and it was so delicious. I was eating on it throughout the next few days. The boys loved it, and they were very excited to be involved in making something, and it's so simple. It takes like 10 minutes to make. This is always something I've had during Passover, but I've actually never made it. This was our first time, and it was so fun. Thank you so much for Torah Sisters for sponsoring this video. I'm so excited to tell you about their magazine. It is filled with so much encouragement for the everyday homemaker, wife, mom, just follower of the Lord who wants a little inspiration in her home. It is filled with recipes, feast encouragement, and so many other articles inside. You can get $5 off your first order with the code ANOINTED. I will leave the link in the description box below as well for you to check out. And every now and then you may see some articles from yours truly. Thank you so much, Torah Sisters, for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into the rest of what we did for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. This day we did some kind of science experiments with the boys, and they ate this up. I did this like turning water into blood experiment with them last year for Passover, and my oldest did not stop talking about it for the entire year. He kept asking to get grape juice and turn water to blood. This year I actually got some red food coloring and did it that way, and they absolutely loved it. I also did a parting the Red Sea experiment with little Lego figures as Moses, because that's all we had. And then you do some pepper in a little dish of water, put some soap on Moses's feet, and put Moses inside, and it makes the pepper kind of part, like parting the Red Sea. This is the Red Red Sea. And what did God do to the Red Sea? Moses stretched out his... Just a second, I will. He stretched out his staff, and let's put Moses in the water. Put him right in the water, okay? God moved the waters, right?
Make it to the Red Sea.
Alright, now Moses goes in the Red Sea, and God parts the waters. This day I was having some friends over for coffee and just letting our kids play, and I wanted to make some treats, but I couldn't make a bunch because it was the Feast of Unleavened Bread, so I didn't have baking powder or yeast or any of that stuff. So I made my go-to croissants for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. These things are so good and buttery. It's literally just cottage cheese, butter, and flour, and they are delicious. I've made them several years now, and we used to make them when I was younger as a kid doing the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I will leave that recipe in the description box below if you want to recreate it yourself. They are so simple and easy. You can make the dough, then kind of let it warm up out of the refrigerator and roll it out, put it in the oven, and they're done in no time. They're great for breakfast. You can fill them with chocolate, with jam, or you can just use them plain, and that is what I did this day. So this day I actually wanted to do a completely different craft idea with the boys, but I was not able to get the stuff for it in time, so I just worked with what I had. I really wanted to teach them about Jesus during Passover this year, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, because a lot of times that's just looked over and we remember the story of Moses. So I just pulled out a jar and did a little lesson of Jesus rising from the dead and rolling the stone away, all of that, and just talked through it. And honestly, they were just as curious and listening well compared to just using a jar and a Lego figure compared to what I was planning, which maybe I'll do next year, but this worked just as well. Alright, this is the last day and it is a high Sabbath, and we were watching Superbook that morning of the story of Moses and some of Jesus and the Last Supper, and then we got ready for our Shabbat, which I made some unleavened bread before sundown to eat with our Shabbat dinner. And that is honestly just a simple look at our Feast of Unleavened Bread. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know what you did for your feast in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye friends!